Well, it's gone. Everything is gone.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Life and Legacy, a moment with Dr. Grace. We are experiencing some technical challenges at this time, but give us a minute or two and we should be back with you. We hope you had an excellent week. Dr. Grace is getting ready to join us again.
Hi, good afternoon. Happy Wednesday to you, and thank you for your patience with us. There has been some challenges, and I thank you for your patience and your support. This afternoon, we are up for a wonderful treat. And the question is, how are your children coping? Are they or are they not? Did you know that the children and adolescents are the ones who may be least affected by or infected by the COVID-19? However, they may be the ones to experience the most long-lasting impact. Are you aware that what's happening in and around us with regard to 19 is pushing over 142 million more children in monetary poverty and the possibility of psychological challenges? Are you also aware that with the absence of sufficient support, these children can be affected in significant ways? And this afternoon, whatever we want to look at, however we want to call this pandemic, we are at this point needing to face the reality because of the long-lasting impact that it will have on our children. And so it is that we are talking this afternoon about the impact of COVID-19 on children and adolescents. And we do have some children, adolescents with us. How am I impacted by COVID? What's the worst thing that is happening as it relates to online schooling? How can parents be more understanding? And what are some tips that parents can utilize in order to make their experience seamless? We are welcoming you to Let's Talk Life and Legacy, a moment with Dr. Grace. And at this time, I want to bring out my co-hosts and have them come and share about what's been happening with them since we last had a link up. How are you guys?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you for asking. I'll leave to Dr. Bell. I'll allow Dr. Bell to go first and share with you how things are going with her since we last met.
You know, I am grateful and I'm not complaining because things could have been worse. We're living in a time of unprecedented pandemic, and so I'm grateful. I am always in a grateful mood. And I'm happy that we're talking about this topic this evening because it is dear to my heart. I have a conference coming up shortly too, from the Ministry of Health, the Northeast region. And I am happy that we are going to be starting this conversation tonight because we need to get it out there so that the relevant authorities can know what's happening to our children and be responsive to it.
I agree. I agree with Dr. Bell. Beyond the relevant authorities, I'm very excited that as a parent, I too can sit in on this conversation and learn some more about how I can survive this and not do so at the peril of my children's mental health. And so I'm very excited about the conversation this evening. Since the last time we met, I did celebrate a birthday. And as you can see, I also celebrated a new hairdo. It's sort of one of those things that I said to myself that I guess when you're getting up in age, you must just do something and just change it up a little bit. That's how I felt. So I went ahead and changed the hair. But, I'm very excited that we're going to be talking about this topic this evening because I'm very interested to listen and sit at the feet of the experts to learn how we can best navigate this challenge that we face during this pandemic, but also beyond the pandemic and the resulting impact of the pandemic that we will be able to deal with the lasting impacts of that. So looking forward.
Thank you. And Shauna, as you were thinking, you were talking, I was thinking about even the matter of changing of the hairdo. Somebody may look at that as seemingly a simple thing, but the fact of the matter is any kind of change nowadays, Dr. Bell, will help to inspire some kind of hope and, those kind of moods that you're in sometimes feeling down and out. But this evening, the topic, exploring the impact of COVID-19 on children and adolescents. One of the things that inspired this topic, and I want to celebrate with Dr. Bell also in terms of the conference that's coming up, which will be involved. We find that since COVID, every organization, almost every school, almost every ministry, almost every church have called and asked for presentations and how to treat with this. But I think if there is one in every 50 that I hear about that asks to zero in on children, that's a lot. And it is very important that we take care of their mental health. And when I look at the research and found that the fact is, even though they may be the least population that will be infected with the disease, the long-term effect is grave. Our life has been interrupted. The increased isolation and social distancing and all those things that have caused them to be sitting down or being at home, having to not being able to interact with their peers and all of that. Those are some of the things that inspire this conversation. And I really am looking forward to hear their perspective and also to give the families a sense of hope that they can get through this with a requisite help. Dr. Bell.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Dr. Kelly. And I find that last year I did a lot of presentations, and the presentations were mainly geared towards adults. And it's this year that we recognize that we really didn't give attention to the children. This is May month, and we have to say this is Child's Month. Mm-hmm. And we are happy to be involving children in the discussion, in the conversation, so that they too have a voice, so that we can hear from them and understand what's happening in their world, so that we can be responsive to them. So I am so elated that we're having this discussion, and elated too that that conference, we will have movers and shakers there who would be tuning in so that they can hear and respond.
Appreciate that. And so to kind of set a foundation as to where the conversation will be going, we have 2 videos we want to share at this time. And so we're asking our listeners Again, we thank you for your patience. We know it might be delayed and some challenges you may have observed at the beginning with the internet and the electricity right across Jamaica. Most people are having that challenge, and we appreciate your understanding. Still send that link to somebody while we are getting the video queued up. Please send the link to someone who you know will benefit from this conversation. Let's take a look at some of the realities that our parents and children are facing, especially our teenagers.
So, hi. I don't understand. I left school about 100 years now, and I'm still getting called to come to the principal's office. Why? How are you doing, Jasmine? Okay. Yes, I called you in because Riri's not doing so well in class. She's falling back, and we're a little concerned. So why don't you catch her? No, that's not the way this works. We have to do it together as a team, okay? Okay, so as I was saying... So like how we are meeting here now in person, face to face, and we can do that, right? Why is it that children can't start coming back to school? Why they can't do this face to face thing? Oh, calm down. No, don't tell me to calm down, I'm tired, I'm stressed out, I'm tired. Remember saying all this, we never go to school for study for do these things, you understand? We never go to school for study for go to the teacher or nothing like that. Oh. I don't know, I don't understand. Every second I have to be sending my daughter go over to the nasty corner. The naughty corner? Whatever you want to call it. Listen, I don't know what to do. I don't. I don't know if it's because she eats too much sugar or what, but she's not keeping steady. She's not doing what she's supposed to do. The teacher boring. She a drop asleep, me a drop asleep.
Yeah.
I don't even have any privacy in my house anymore. Because I can't even understand this online Zoom class something. And sometimes I walk up and down in my tear clothes and I don't remember that them is on Zoom. Oh, God. And sometimes I talk my business and I don't remember that them is on Zoom. It's stressing me out, to be honest. It's stressing me out, miss. And I can see that a lot of times the parents, them is like looking into the background of my house, like I'm trying to see what is in there because I'm fasting and all of these things. And I can't take it, I don't got any privacy. I don't have any privacy. Oh, but look. Yeah, you're fine. You look nice. Okay. Thank you. No, Jasmine, you have to be patient because can you imagine if you as the adult feels this way? Can you imagine what Riri is going through? This is the new norm. Oh, this norm I knew for so long. When it I got old, so we can get a new one norm. But don't like this one here. Yes, I understand that, but it affects everyone. It is rough for everybody. But that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. Remember like when she used to go to school, a little pressure would come off me because she on the PAD program, so they would normally find like food and those things for her. So the food that I have in my house, it could
We're back.
I don't know what just happened a while ago.
You're muted. Dr. Grace, you're muted.
I don't know.
Yes, I was saying we are going to continue as we hope that this challenge will be resolved, and we hope that some persons are being able to get the content, but we are challenged, really challenged this afternoon. But thanks again, our listeners or viewers. We appreciate your patience. So here's a mother. She is frustrated. She can't handle the COVID. And if she cannot handle the COVID stresses, how can we expect our children to handle that? It is amazing how sometimes even us as adults, we look at the children and we expect them to do everything as they are accustomed and to behave the way they are accustomed and not be impacted by this. So, okay, stay your course, sit, those kind of stuff. We have some homes where there might be one device and everybody is depending on it. The amount of food that one has to buy for the children is different because, as was mentioned in the video, the child is on path. That means the government would have purchased food for them, and when they're at school, mommy wouldn't have to worry about it. But no, that's a budget that she has to be thinking through. Dr. Bell, what's happening? How can our children handle such situations?
That video is really very telling. And it's telling because these are some of the psychosocial issues that were brought out in that video. And part of what the mom is experiencing is part of that pandemic fatigue. She wanted a different normal. And the fatigue has brought about irritability. There is financial issues going on because she's unable to care for the family. She may have lost her job, and the child now must adapt to this new way of learning that is also creating stress on the child because they now have to make those adjustments, stress on the mother because the child may not be fully engaged in the learning activity, in the educational process, because again of the near differences or the clear differences in the learning styles that are there. So again, I empathize with the mom, and I also empathize with the child because we're living in unusual times.
Thank you. We are going to, I hope the system will allow us. Chaun, are we ready for the next video? Are we able to do it?
This is it's not loading for some reason. Am I coming through clear on that end? Because
yes, we are hearing you clearly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to see if I could do some things in the background with that other video so that we'll be able to pull it up later on in the show. I'm going to do my best to do that.
All right. I appreciate that. So it's okay. We can be flexible. And this is, interesting, Dr. Bell.
Yes.
This is a teachable moment.
Yes.
This is a teachable moment. Can you imagine the students in school? The teacher is explaining a very important point that they have to remember for their examination, and the interruption because of the electricity or the internet caused them to miss out on the most salient point. So when they come to their exam, they are unable to treat with that. And sometimes they may not be assertive enough to call the teacher or to WhatsApp the teacher or to text the teacher and say, I didn't hear this. And if you have a class of 20 and 30, which we sometimes do and maybe more, can you imagine if half of the class is going smoothly and another half isn't, and you have to pause at every interval to be answering these disruptions? So tonight, I guess sometimes when we think we are having problems, it is something that we are being taught so that we can help somebody. Talk to me about that.
So frustrating is the process because sitting in the seat that I sit, I get all the kinds of issues that may arise out of students being at home with parents. And what I am seeing really, based on even what you have just highlighted, is that many of these students are taking off what we call a gap year, not in engaging in school activities at all because their level of frustration is so heightened that they are not engaging in the learning process. Many of them will log on and they don't engage because, again, to this, the teaching has become too monotonous. The teaching is not engaging for them. And as a result, all the issues that were mentioned arise, and it's just pure stress and frustration for these young kids.
And I appreciate you expanding on that and sharing the information. I can support what you're saying in terms of your find that these children are taking a gap year. For those who are not in that age group, some of them are really out there working. But from primary right through, you find a class that used to be like 60, less than 10% of them are being engaged in the classes. So majority of the teachers will tell you that sometimes it's 3, 5, 7, 10. If they have 10, it's a lot. But there are some teachers who are quite engaging, and it is as a result of the children not understanding how to treat with the fatigue and all of the stresses that come with it. So let's see where we go from here. Shauna?
Yes, I think the video is actually ready, and I just wanted to put a little shameless plug here. My brother is the one that did this video for us. I want you guys to go and check him out. He's also on Instagram. So go ahead, Dina. Let's hear what you have to say about the quarantine.
Today we're interviewing Mr. Johnson, Miss Johnson, and their son, Carlos. Alright, so we're doing a survey on what
school is like at home, online classes.
I'm going to run through a few questions with Mr. Johnson. So I want to know what it is like to be using one phone per person. So let's start with Mr. Johnson. How do you cope or manage with just one phone in the house? Yeah man, so sometimes it's kind of difficult, because sometimes I have to take a call on the same phone because sometimes my boss call me for company side, make a little dollar. You understand? Nothing really go on. And then she over there, so they on YouTube every day with the phone, so me can't get the phone, Carlos can't get the phone. So why I don't know. Yeah, man. Really, really, really hard. Alright, Miss Johnson, to you now. What do you do or how do you manage with just one phone? Let me hear from you, Miss Johnson.
Alright, so sometimes I'm gonna TikTok on the videos on YouTube, and I have to be giving Carlos my phone for the online classes, and it's really annoying, but we don't have any money to afford a phone right now, so it's just one phone in the whole house.
Alright, so to you now, Carlos, I want to ask you, what's the most difficult part of going on online classes with just one phone in the household? So the worst part of doing online classes is I have no device for myself, I miss my friends, and I don't get a chance to play football anymore. Alright, so Carlos, I understand that. What I want to ask you also, what's the best part of online classes? What do you enjoy about it? Alright, so the best part of online classes is that I get to stay home, not walking to school anymore, and my mother cook food for me, so I can get lunch. What do you do to manage or cope with the at-home classes or the distractions? What do you do? Okay, so what I do to cope is sometimes I find a small corner and with the phone, so I could get some time by myself and on the online class. But it's really difficult to cope or manage because sometimes my dad is getting a call on the phone, and sometimes my mom need the phone to do something else. So it's kind of difficult. Alright, Carlos, this is the last question. What can your parents do like them to understand and make the online classes more better. All right, so I wish my parents could understand that online class is important and I need it. So I wish sometime they could give me the phone to spend more time with it. All right, folks, there you have it with Mr. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson, and Carlos, and how do they cope with Carlos' online classes with only one device in the household.
Dr. Bell, I'll give it up to you to comment on this one.
Challenges, all I have to say is challenges, challenges, challenges. So we're dealing with the pandemic, and out of the pandemic has come several issues, including the fact that children must now stay at home and be on online school. And that's a very expensive proposition too. And it's expensive because there are many parents may have our 3 or 4 children in the same home who attend different schools, and that in itself poses a challenge. Who is to get the iPad? Who is to get the gadget, the phone, the mother's phone? And so it is that toss up, which again is what is resulting now in the children losing interest, and parents too, because of the surmountable problems that result from trying to juggle all the kids staying in school and using maybe one device or no device at all, because
none
there are
at
some
all.
children who are not in school at all.
Thank you. And so to expand the conversation, Chaun, I think we have, I know we have some guests. Do you want to tell us who these are? Well, each of us will have an opportunity to share and to invite them to be a part of the conversation at this time.
Yes, excellent. We do have some very special guests. It's somewhere close to their bedtime, so we're gonna just make sure we introduce them, pick their brains, and learn from our children. You know, this is Child's Month, Dr. Grace, and I'm very happy that you came up with the idea and the plan to go ahead and invite some of the young scholars among us, some of the brightest minds. I'm very pleased, in particular, that I happen to know one of them very personally. Chaun Pottinger, who is the CEO and founder of Inside Sparkle. Chaun Pottinger is a 13-year-old who's on a mission to inspire children within her age group to be the very best version of themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and pull Chaun out. And then we also have with us Dr. Bell's granddaughter, Jayne Edwards. She's also another brilliant scholar among us who has been responsible for a number of, she's been on the show before, of course, but also Jayne is a student at Liberty Learning Center preparatory school in St. Anne, and she is the deputy head girl, of course, and a JCDC gold medalist. We also have with us Daequan Dixon. Daequan is, I was told, an artist by profession, and he's also joining us today. And what they're basically going to be sharing with us is how COVID-19 has been impacting them. And I can't wait to bring them out to hear from them. So here we go. Hey, Daequan. Hey, Jayne. Hey, Chaun. Where is Chaun?
She's missing.
Hi, guys.
Action. Welcome to Let's Talk Life and Legacy, Chaun, Jayne, and Daequan. It is our pleasure having you. And you have been in the waiting room. You have been there observing what we have been sharing. And I just want to throw the first question at you for you to relax a little bit. Tell us, when you hear of the word, when you hear COVID-19, what comes to mind? And I'm going to blend it with another question. What's the best and the worst part of COVID-19 and the situation where you have to be studying at home, online school? And this is open. Any one of you can answer.
Well, may I go?
Yes, you may go.
Okay, thank you. Well, what comes to my mind when I hear COVID-19 now basically would be confusion.
Oh, wow.
And for me, the best part about it is the fact that I get to stay at home, be more relaxed, and spend more time with my family in worship and more family activities. And I don't have to follow the rigid structure that I would usually have to and try to beat traffic to get to school. And the worst part is, of course, I know many children will agree with me. They don't, I don't get to see my friends and socialize with my friends and my teachers as I would want to. And some concepts in my class, abstract abstract concepts that are harder to understand now because we are online.
Okay, I appreciate that. Wow, that's a mouthful, and we can understand, we can appreciate what you have said about the best and the worst part. We will comment a little bit more, but let's hear from Janae and Chaun. Which of you want to go first?
I'll go first. That's okay. Well, when I think of COVID, I kind of think of kind of like a restriction. And the best part of COVID is that I've been able to be more relaxed, as Daequan said. I've been able to spend more time outside. I've been able to, like, on breaks, I don't have to go to PE at the same time. I'm able to do PE differently. I get to get more of a personalized workout. But I mean, there's some things you do miss, but the best part is you get to have more time for yourself than you usually do, and you get to have more you time, a lot more you time since COVID has started. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Janae?
Okay, so when I hear the word COVID, I think of stress and confusion, as Dawn said. And the worst part about it is that I can't get to interact with my friends anymore, and I can't get to be my normal self. I have to always wear a mask and always have to wash my hands, and it's kind of stressing for me to be doing that all the time. But the best part about it is that I have more me time, as Chaun said. I get to relax. I get to do more physical activities. I get to just have a I just have a little break from school, honestly. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Honest to each of you. I noticed the common thing across is missing of the socialization, but apparently all three of you seem to be happy that you're at home with your family. I find that quite interesting. Thank you for sharing. Chaun, okay.
I think that context matters. And a lot of the children that are struggling at the end of COVID, which is the rough end of COVID, it really comes down to economics in some respect, and also the family situation. Because we can all appreciate, and I think Chaun would agree with me on this, that if it were that home life wasn't as relaxing, and Chaun didn't share this, but she is very frustrated with her younger toddler sibling who is kind of unhinged. He has no classes, no structure in terms of what time to go to a class and so on. So he'll just pop into her class and so on. So there was a point in time when she was actually saying, I need to get out of this house and go back to school, because the situation around her was frustrating. And so I think that based on the economic standing, and also the social factors around the home, I think that is being impacted here. You could tell that these children that we have here, they are in good homes, relatively good homes, where they can say, the positive side of it is really positive of COVID. But I'm sure that there are others who can relate to much more negative aspects of what COVID brings. Right, Chaun?
Yes, because I mean, when you're missing your friends, you're missing all the connections, and I mean, when you're in seventh grade or this middle school age or high school in Jamaica, I mean, you're missing the gossip. You might not like it, but I mean, you're like, oh, it's like, I mean, you have to be honest. You're not being able to interact with your friends as you used to. You're not having that encouraging criticism or constructive criticism as you used to. You're not able to like stretch as you used to socially, and it's just not. It's not as easy or it's not as fun as it was when you're in person. And yeah, I've heard this joke. It's either you're literal or fake. So I guess I'm the fake version, but I just
All right.
really miss seeing my friends and stuff and being able to interact with them.
Daequan, I wanna ask you to speak to us through the eyes of some of your friends that you may be interacting with that may not have. Oh, all right. Are they having a similar experience with you? No names, no identification information, but just generally, are you in touch with any of your friends? And it could be any of the three of you could answer in terms of, are they seeing the same positives, or are there other challenges that they may have been expressing?
Well, certainly they do. I have been in contact with many of my friends over this COVID period, and we talk, and they tell me basically these same things.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to pick up on that? Then we move to our next question. We'll have Dr. Bell coming in.
Well, yeah, Jane, yeah. Well, I do stay in contact with my friends because, I mean, I still do go out and stuff for church and stuff like that because here's a little bit more open. But I mean, it's not the same as it was before, and it probably won't be the same as it was before. But it's just this new norm, as that video was saying, is just a lot different, and it's shaking up a lot of relationships I used to have. And yeah, it's just been a really game changer.
I have been in touch with a lot of my friends actually, but they're facing the same problems as I am because one time we would always be hugging each other when we see each other at school. We would be talking, we would be eating lunch together, and sometimes we would bring snacks for each other. But now we can't do that because of this COVID thing, and it's kind of stressing us out because we had a friend group, a really, really nice friend group, but then we fell apart sometimes because of the COVID stress. It just has ruined my friendship with my friends. But I still keep in touch with them over text, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's true. Can appreciate that. So what is it that you do to cope? I know, Daequan, you have participated in JCDC, and you are a professional artist and some. What do you really do? I notice, Jayne, you also have a lot of things behind your name, where you have been first place in JCDC and all of those kind of stuff. And Chaun, I happen to know that you play football, I think, or whatever else. What do you do to cope or to manage when you're at home?
Well, I have to learn to prioritize, manage my time, organize, be more organized, and I can talk to my parents about it. And you can always talk to your Heavenly Father about these things. He hears, he will answer, and he can help you. And you have to just do these things during this time.
Wow. Wow, wow, we.
I love it.
Janae, you want to go next?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Okay, so what I do to cope with this COVID thing is I mostly do mostly physical activities. Let's say, for example, I would ride my bicycle when it's around 5-ish, and then after I'm studying, I would go outside for some fresh air, do some stretches, and then after that, I would go around my playground where I would play with my brother and just swing on the swing song and have a good time. And sometimes I would like go under a tree and read a book to just keep me occupied. So me dealing with this COVID thing, it's just mostly physical activities because I have been inside a lot for online school. So like I want to just get away, be free and be me.
Yeah, for me, for coping, mainly I do sports. I like sports. I like to be. I'm very competitive. I must say that I'm very competitive. So I like to occupy myself with sports, playing with my siblings, especially soccer. Soccer is just something that I just really love. Um, it's football. Football is something I really love because that's what they say in Jamaica. Um, I also love to organize. I'm more of like a write down things person. Like if it's in my brain, it's just gonna bother me until I write it down, and then I finally finally. So I usually like to write down my thoughts or organize things or like research things. It's just something I just like to put my hands on it and like plan it out. So I can say, wow, that's a dream. I can put that to work, you know? I just like to have everything organized and in order.
Man, these guys sound quite perfect and happy. Dr.
I think
Dr. Bell.
they're highlighting the challenges too, but what I'm
Yes,
seeing here, these are resilient kids who have a schedule
exactly.
and they are using that schedule to cope. I'm finding that when you don't have the schedule, that's when you're set off, you're off put. And so this is really good information out there to for the audience, young people and parents to recognize that part of coping with this pandemic is to maintain a very good schedule. School, recreation, and other activities will help them to cope. It's a new kind of normal, but if we continue to want it to be the same as we had it, that's where the stress is going to be turned up. And so what these young ones are saying is that we do have a schedule. We are still engaged in school. Yes, it is challenging, but we are resilient. We are bouncing back because we are
Yes.
now adjusting to the situation. I'd love to ask you guys though, what would you like your parents to understand from you personally as you go through this very unusual time?
Well,
Jenny,
honestly, there's
She's answering.
nothing that I have to understand because they listen to me and I have this excellent grade 5 teacher and she does her best to cope with the online schooling. She makes sure that we do our work. She sends us extra work just to make us be more knowledgeable about our schoolwork. So there's nothing really I would complain about because my mom and my dad does their best to provide for me for online school. And I'm really thankful and grateful for that. So they have done an excellent job with this.
That's right.
And I'm proud to say it.
Thumbs up to mummies and daddies. Oh
We're
boy, I see a professional coach, she's been coaching us on and been supporting us. But she's here saying that she wish she had it together like these wonderful young people do. So you're doing great. Go ahead and answer.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
would
have
like.
to agree. Oh,
You go. You go
oh,
first.
I'm gonna
You
have.
go first.
Okay, thank you. I'm
You're
gonna
welcome.
have to agree with Janae. I really haven't had much problems. I mean, sometimes I'm being difficult. I'm like, "Mommy, can I have this?" Something just in like a wanty mode. But I have to say, I really haven't had much troubles like that because, God's blessed my family with my parents having jobs during COVID and stuff. So we haven't really had to deal with things like that. But I know that other people and other kids my age are dealing with, they don't have phones. They're not able to communicate with other friends with only like computer apps like Google, Communicate and stuff like that. I'm like, how? I have to remember that not everyone has everything that I do, and I can't take that for granted. So yeah.
Well, I would just like to say that it is as challenging for the parents as it is for us. They have to go through a lot during this time as well. And I'm agreeing with what Janae said. The teachers are doing a great job. My teachers as well at the Victor Dixon High School, they are trying to limit the amount of work that they're giving us because some teachers think that because we are online, it's automatically easier for us to do work. And because of that, they are sending a lot and a lot and a lot of homework. But my teachers are trying their best to limit it, so you know, make things easier for us during this time. And I hope that they will continue to feed us emotionally and spiritually.
Good.
Wow. Oh my goodness, guys, I am blown away by the brilliance that's on display here today. As a parent, I have to say that I'm very proud of what I'm seeing in you guys in terms of how you are very empathetic with what your parents are going through. Dr. Bell, we moved to Florida back in 2019. So these girls actually were in a brand new school, and they only got like a half of a year in their new school. So we've been on the pandemic journey since last year, since March of last year. And I felt like at one point, and Dr. Grace can relate because, she's a resident counselor and sometimes we call and let it all out on her. But I just felt so overwhelmed with everything and the frustration when it set in. I came up with an idea to get a membership at a pool. And now I find that even though the kids are the ones that actually go and swim, I need the pool as much as they do. Because just to have that opportunity to get out of the house where, 5 or 6 of you are just bumping into each other, no matter how you clean a room, within seconds of going back into that space, it's going to be untidy. I can see how that clash can happen. And so I'm very happy to see that the young people this evening are very understanding of the fact that, okay, I'm having a challenge, but so is mommy. And kudos to you guys. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I really appreciated that that was brought out too, where they were able to step over into their peers' shoes and was able to empathize in that way, understanding that they may have this, but there are others who don't. And that's really a very high level skill to be able to see with the eyes of another, hear with the ears of another, and feel with the heart of another. And and that's beautiful that our children are learning that they too can be empathetic.
Yes, I agree.
So, what then do we share with our parents? What are some things? And this question was intended for Dr. Bell and I, and I'm stepping over it because we have some experts in here, and I'm going to give them this opportunity to share with the audience. You have persons listening to you, and they will re-listen to this. So it's going to be out there in cyberspace. So you are going to be sharing what are some of the things that you think parents can do to help their children and adolescents. Yeah. What can they do? What other things can they do? Gentlemen, before ladies, for this one. What are some of the real practical things, even some of the things that they do for you right now?
Well, they provide support, spiritually and mentally, and help me whenever I'm feeling down or lonely or just overall overwhelmed with this structure. They can help me and they talk to me and counsel me and help me to continue and do my best. And in terms of they feed me with all that I need. Um, During this time, I've also grown quite an appetite. So I guess they have helped a lot with that as well.
Yes.
Helping to provide support in all ways.
Yes, you have Daequan. All the children have. They've grown an appetite.
Thank you. Janae, you want to add something then, Chaun?
Yes, I would like to agree with Daequan over here because my parents support me. Like even in the beginning of this dreadful pandemic, they have supported me throughout all the way. They have put in the effort to make me have a comfortable place to do my online classes. They have provided food, they have provided love, and they have listened to me. And my mom, I should really thank because she's the one that helps me with my schoolwork. And she's the one who sometimes would even help me, like if I'm giving a speech or doing something for my school's devotion. She's always the one to help me. She is just my superhero, honestly. She's the one who helped me with all of this just bad things happening in the world right now. She is the main reason who of what I am today. She's the one who made me what I am today.
Oh,
Thank you.
sweet.
Wow.
So nice, Janae.
Thank you.
I just have to say it because I'm like, wow. Well, so I have to agree with Janae because with all my like the videos I have to do, my mom is basically like the tech person. Like, you know those videos at the end?
We
You
know
know,
that.
like you see those little lists at the end? You just say mommy, 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 mommy. She's like helping out with everything. Yeah, and I have to say that throughout all of this, they've been listening to me. Like when I need to get kept in check, they're like, "Deshaun, seriously." So yeah, I mean, sometimes you kind of like resenting it, but then after you're like, "Thank you so much for that." Like, if I didn't, I would be in such a big mess. And yeah,
These
and
kids are
they
making me cry.
Me too.
well, yeah,
Oh, I'm a
but
big baby.
May I add on? May I add something as well?
Please.
go ahead.
Thank you,
For me,
Chaun.
for me,
Yes, go ahead, Daequan.
it's both of part of like an equilibrium. My mother is not so good in the
Big word.
technological side of this time. Seeing that we have to be online, so my father deals with that. Shout out to him. It's the best. He's the more tech savvy one. But my mother, she provides support in all sorts of the other areas. But because once it's not the technological side, I can count on her to help me. She will be there.
Wonderful.
Good balance.
Yeah, kudos to all the mothers. And we are so grateful to have had you sharing with us. And some of the things I'm hearing from you is that parents can just be there for their children to listen. All right? Am I correct? Just shake your head or your thumbs up. Just to listen, to provide support, to ensure that the meals are planned and they don't cause you to overeat.
Yeah. Listen.
And importantly, was mentioned, I think is Janae that mentioned that a special space was created for her to do her schooling. And so if parents can do that, it doesn't matter what size the house is or anything, just give the children a special place to know that this is where they are going to be. And some of the caution in one of the videos you heard, well, I heard when the mother said sometimes she comes out and not remembering that her children on Zoom, you must always be proper. So it's best to put your computer towards the wall, or as I'm declaring now, you can use your what they call this background again, green screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so it appears as if I'm in somewhere else, but trust me, I would love one day, Dr. Bell, to have a piano of my own. Um, but parents
Go
learn how to
for it.
do these things so that but it's better for a plain wall. Don't have the camera showing up what's in your home. Don't have the camera showing up who is in your house, and don't have your camera showing pointing in the direction that if someone is coming from anywhere, the possibility, especially bathroom, that they would be seen. So these are some of the tips that you can take away. The other things, and I'll let Dr. Bell and Shauna share in a moment, but the other of just playing with the children time when, and children, those who are listening and those who are here, if you know even the Kahoot and the other games that the teachers use to teach you, you can teach that to your parents so that they can enjoy some of the fun with you while they too are learning some things. All right, I won't take all the rest of the time. I'll let my co-host give some insights also.
I just wanted to talk a little. I saw one of the comments coming in that we should have had some less fortunate children talking about the impact of the pandemic. And I agree, but I also can shed some light on that, being in the position that I am in being the regional clinical psychologist for the Northeast region. And just recently, I had a young man who was presenting with behavioral problems, and the mom, when spoken to, the mom said that the young man was displaying aggressive and agitated behavior and had developed an addiction for gaming or playing games on the computer. Now, in conversation with both of them, the young man said to me that he is bored to death, and that it is a rural area, and he said he would like to go out and play some football. He would like to use the time to learn to swim, and he would also like to go crabbing. Those were three things that he made mention of. And the mom was very, very oppositional to the whole idea of this young boy engaging in those activities. I know it's the pandemic time, but because he's at home, not having the kind of structure that these young ones just made mention of, he was ending up with a mental health issue of gaming addiction and also the aggressive and agitated behavior. And all he wanted was the body actually signaling to him that he needed to do something different, some recreational activity. Janae spoke to her getting out in the afternoon, going on out to do some on her swing and so on. And those are the things that are keeping these children focus, because they're not just online learning and they're not just on their tablet or their phones, but they're also incorporating a structure, a good schedule that is keeping them sane. And so I'm appealing to parents out there that children still need a structure that is going to include a variety of things that is going to help them to maintain their mental wellness, as well as staying focused in a very unusual way of learning. And so if we could appeal to the parents to be able to understand this and fulfill those needs, because it could then backfire in ending up with mental health issues.
I
Shauna,
agree.
you can, yeah.
Yes, I agree with you, Dr. Bell, and I appreciate and acknowledge that comment about, the fact that there are others who are not on the same playing field in terms of their experience with COVID. As we listen to the conversation, it's almost like there are a lot of positive things that are happening in the lives of the children that are here. All of us have certain needs that needs to be met, and it starts out with the physiological, but and safety is a very high one on it. I think that as a parent, if we are fulfilling the very first two of those needs in terms of providing a safety net for our children, and safety does not only mean safety in terms of being safe from COVID-19, but safety in the sense that it's okay if you are not
psychological safety.
Say it again.
Psychological safety.
Yes, that backing, that support that says it's okay if you don't feel like you're doing well during COVID academically. It's not the end of the world. We are just hanging tight in this storm until we make it through it. And exercising that patience is what has helped me personally, because even with my daughters, they do these standardized testing to see where they are and so on. Not to say that I'm giving them space to be mediocre when I know that they can do better. But I've given a lot of, I think, and parents, regardless of your economic status, you can do this too. You can give your children the latitude to not necessarily excel during this period of time. If it is that those factors, such as, the mental health situation is going to be weighing in heavily on them, I think as a parent, we have to do that. And I just want to pause too. Somebody mentioned it earlier, to just say kudos to the teachers. Oh my goodness.
Today's Teachers' Day too.
So happy Teachers' Day.
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you this. The teacher that teaches my middle child right now, I take my hats off to her, because as I listen to her, how patient she is on those phone calls with the students. I mean, it's one thing, Dr. Bell, last year to be telling people to mute their microphones or raise their virtual hands. It's like, but when you have to be doing that every single day, be reminding people of the boundaries and all of those things. Meanwhile, you have some kids in the classroom and some who are at home. It's just a lot to juggle. And I think that they're doing an excellent job at that. So I say the word for COVID-19 is forgiveness and grace. Give yourself grace and give the children grace and give the teachers grace until we make it on the other side of this storm, where we can be assured that we are fully safe, and whether it be psychologically or physically.
I really like those comments. And one of the things that I'm going to pick up on, well, two things. One, something that Dr. Bell read about persons saying that we should get persons who were not as, what's the term? I want to use that term, because don't make the assumption. Don't make assumptions.
Nice to hear from the less fortunate children.
Yeah, what is less fortunate within a certain context? All right. Yes, these three young persons are from, we didn't decide that we are going to take them because they are in a better position. We tried to get others, and the real response was they don't have even the device to do them class. You think they're going to have if you compare, you sure? And the second video that you saw for those who don't understand the patois, I think it's very clear. If they cannot afford to have the device to do their classes, how will they have to come on? And the second video that was done, it is actually a depiction of a situation that we would have wanted to videotape, but we couldn't because they would not have had the ability to do it, and so it was depicted. All right, so I just want to be mindful and to help you to appreciate that we did do that. And the second point, Chaun, as you mentioned about, I don't want us to have the impression that we are going to wait until after COVID to start living and start planning and having structure in our life. We can't do that because we don't know when we need balance. So COVID is happening now, and I need to live now. I need to eat, I need to sleep, I need to have fun, I need to exercise, and I need to breathe. I need to do things that I enjoy. Don't wait until after COVID, because the fact is we don't know if there will ever be after COVID. So we have to the talk up segment. I appreciate the fact that most of the comments were being posted as we go along, but I must open up now to find out if there are any other persons who have any question that they would want to ask, so that we can respond to that before we close. We appreciate your patience. Go ahead and read, Chaun. I don't have my glasses.
Yeah, so far a lot of very good comments about the presenters. I'm not necessarily seeing any question per se, but Hey Ricketts here is talking about the importance of physical exercise for the children, that they need this just as much as adults, or probably even more, because my 4-year-old, his energy level is out of this world. So I guess we can all comment on that, Dr. Bell.
Yes, it's right. And interestingly, what we are seeing here in the Northeast region of Jamaica is a number of our children, normal children, are now showing signs of mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I am surmising that that is coming because they have become sedentary, inactive, and they're sitting maybe at a computer, and they have no outside activities that they are engaging. Normally, the activity would come with them waking up, going off to school. At school, they would be with their peers, moving, walking to and from the school, and that would provide some exercise for them. No, they are not doing anything at all like that. And this is why we are seeing now a shift in the chemical balance that is resulting in depression and anxiety, because they are so inactive. So they need to get out there. They need that kind of structure that these children just discussed with us, where yes, there's a time for the class, but there's also a time for movement. There's a time for recreation. There's time for doing something else that will generate some level of activity to release those endorphins to make them feel well.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. Chaun, are there any other questions or comments that we need to focus on?
No, I don't see anything here. I don't see anything here that I would, this particular comment is speaking to the dietary concerns, ensuring that people have healthy snacks. To be honest with you, I have fallen off hook, line, and sinker with this one. As I said, I'm giving myself some grace. Sometimes the junk food is for them as much as it is for me. I'm not saying that I eat it, but I give myself the space, because it's not every day that I just in the space where I can be as disciplined when it comes on to the meals. So I think so far in this COVID, my kids are having the very best year of their lives when it comes on to ordering and that kind of stuff. But it ends soon. It's not going to be for long.
Forever.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I've come to realize, that my stress factor also affects their stress factor. And so in an effort to balance it out, I'm doing what works for now. And I'm just keeping it 100% real. Dr. Grace, you know how it is. You're trying to balance so many things. So we do what works for us, and that will keep us alive and safe for the time being. But this is an excellent point, not downplaying it. We do try to keep some healthy snacks around, but every now and again we throw in some French fries and throw a little
Other
cheese.
things
Yes.
and
And
other
pizza.
things.
And
All right.
pizza.
And another trick, I don't know if the parents can get away with this, but for a while now, what I do is make sure that anything I need to eat, I have to prepare. So it will take some time to do it. So anything in the house, I have to prepare it to eat it. So it will take some time, with the exception of some mangoes and other things, those come in a little handy. But be real, as you said, parents, don't be too hard on the children and don't be too hard on yourself. There are persons around you who can provide you with help. And if you are stuck and do not know, call your counselor, call your teacher, and call on those of us who are there who can connect you with individuals. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from our special guest. I'd like to find out, is there anything, an empowering statement or something of encouragement that you want to share? And you can identify what population you're sharing with. Is it with your friends? Is it other children or parents? I just want a statement from you that you will leave with these persons who are listening and those who will listen to the replay.
Daequan, go ahead.
Well, I'm conceding. I would like for the females to go first.
He's been a gentleman. He said he'd like for the females to go first. I love it.
Oh, that's lovely.
Okay,
That's
Janae.
lovely. I have known him to be a gentleman, and he's just making sure that he displays that. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I would want to say for all the kids out there is that no matter what, your family has your back, your friends, your teachers have your back. You're not alone. And Dr. Grace and Dr. Bell and everyone right here has your back. And you don't have to be alone. And you can go to your parents for your problems. If they don't listen, if like they don't listen, you can go to your grandma or some other relative that will listen to you and understand your problems. And one more thing that I just want to say is that some people are not being able to see their friends, but I would take a suggestion. Like you could call them, video call them on a daily basis, so you can just feel a connection between you two, or if it's a group of friends actually. So you can video call them. You can talk about all the things you want to talk about, and just remember that your family, your friends, everybody has your back, and you're not alone.
Thank you.
One thing I would like to say, or maybe a few, I don't know, but the only thing that's going to happen right now during COVID is that it's just going to get better. It's, I mean, you can only strive for the best, and the best way you can do that is by preparing yourself for the best. So the best thing you can do is spend more time with God. I mean, it might feel weird sometimes if you're not doing it regularly, but once you get in that position, that mindset to start getting closer with Him, it'll help you out because you'll start to get more thankful for things. You'll be grateful. Your attitude will start changing. Your mindset towards things will change, and I mean, the only way things can get better is if and the only way things can get better from where we are right now, and that's if you put God in it. And I mean, nothing can get worse with God in it. I mean, Am I wrong? But yeah, just just try to get a closer relationship with him so that you can be able to prepare yourself for the worst or the best.
So what I would like to say for encouragement for everyone out there listening and everyone who will listen later, I would like to say, first of all, believe in yourself. Find people who you can trust to talk to whenever you're feeling down or feeling overwhelmed. Always remember that you are made with a purpose. And lastly, Philippians 4 verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Nothing is impossible with God.
Can we agree? And those who are listening in the audience, put a shout out for these young people. I think we can all agree that this has been an
Yes,
awesome
yes,
session.
yes,
And
yes,
I've
yes,
learned a
yes.
lot. I am humbled to have had you with us, and you have added much value to this conversation this afternoon, this evening. And we wish for you a very productive year. We hope that you will accomplish all your dreams and your goals, but more so, as was mentioned by all of you, maintain your relationship with your family and your relationship with Dr. Bell, Shauna. You have 10 seconds each.
All right, so I'll go. I see Dr. Bell is still muted, so she's waiting on me to go. One of the things that I have found to be very helpful is to view the family unit as a team. And, the acronym TEAM stands for Together Each One or Everyone Achieves More. The children are home with us for the past year. We share chores. We share fun activities. We do a lot of things together. But all we're trying to do is to ease the burden and the hardship that COVID-19 has brought on. And so I want to encourage our families to find more ways to share the hardship, share the burdens, but also share the fun times and share the good times and the bonding moments that opportunities that we are afforded because of COVID. Because each time we share these things, it becomes lighter and easier to carry. So I hope that we will be able to do that.
Thank you. Dr.
And
Bell?
we're living in tough times, and I think it all comes down to us accepting, both children and parents, accepting that we are living in tough times, and that tough times call for resilience. And these young ones this evening and their parents have demonstrated that we don't have to succumb to the pressure. What we need to do is to organize ourselves in such a way that we are responding by not putting a square peg in a round hole. So we shift the hole to fit the situation. And so that's what I'm appealing to children and parents to do. Shift the situation so that it fits in a way that you are going to experience less stress. And less stress will mean that you will go through this pandemic with not with the challenges, but with it not so stressful.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And I'm piggybacking on a statement you made. It's tough times, but tough times never last, but tough people do. So be resilient. And I want to leave us with this scripture. I think it's 2 Timothy 1, verse 7. It says, "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And for us to keep a sound mind, we need to be physically active, we need to eat right, we need to sleep right, get our rest, we need to drink enough water, to just love on each other. And parents, thank you for allowing your children to share with us this evening. And we look forward to another time when we will be in this space to empower you and provide you support through all the challenges that you're going. And this is how we say, we end it. Let's talk life and legacy.
Ta-ta!
Ta-ta. Ta-ta. Take care. Take care. God bless you. Thank you.